After a certain powerful young master from Beijing used cunning tactics to completely destroy my career, I started spreading rumors everywhere about my alleged relationship with him. I claimed that Ethan Quynn was actually the one pursuing me, still infatuated, harboring malicious intentions, his love having festered into hatred. These rumors helped me evade my creditor's relentless pursuit. But to my shock, not long after, I was caught by the very man I slandered. There was no lingering old flame between us, but my dark intentions were certainly real. My family was utterly ruined. My father, along with his mistress and their child, hastily fled abroad. Me, I was graciously left behind with a company on the brink of collapse and debts exceeding tens of billions. The very next morning, I awoke to creditors and court officials storming in, mercilessly evicting me from the villa. Yes, even the house was gone. The mansion I once lived in had been sealed overnight. When I finally regained my composure, I realized I didn't even have enough money to buy my father's lawyer a cup of coffee. The lawyer said, "Ms. Kira, you are now responsible for this entire debt of tens of billions." Perhaps I was too stunned, as even the renowned, stern lawyer showed a hint of concern. "Mr. Jiang always treated me well. If you need anything, just say." "Actually, there is something I need to ask," I calmly stated. This time, it was his turn to be taken aback, but out of politeness, he maintained his calm tone. "Please, go ahead. Could you front me some coffee money? I was just evicted, and I didn't even get to grab my phone or wallet. I had to borrow a passerby's phone to call you." The lawyer's expression was a mix of amusement and near tears. "Of course." He paid for the coffee, then pulled out 2 red bills and placed them in front of me. "Take this for a taxi home." "Thank you so much." There truly are still good people in the world. The lawyer left. Before stepping out, he cast a sympathetic glance my way. Perhaps he thought I was too naive, completely unaware of the dire circumstances I was about to face. But he was overthinking it. I'd spent 4 years studying financial management. How could I not understand the meaning of debt and bankruptcy, having to borrow a stranger's phone just to contact Daisy? She truly was my best friend through thick and thin. The moment she heard I was bankrupt, Daisy immediately sped over in her diamond-encrusted pink Porsche. "Kira, get in," she urged, leaving even the woman who lent me her phone wide-eyed with astonishment. I quickly slipped her the 200,000 dong the lawyer had given me, then climbed into the dazzling, flashy car, and we sped away. As Daisy drove, I recounted everything in detail, and she berated me mercilessly all the way to her house. "Your father is truly despicable. He took his mistress and their child to enjoy life, leaving you to manage this mess. Who does that? I'm starting to wonder if you're even his biological daughter." "Don't wonder, I am," I said, sitting on her sofa, munching on some dried squid. Daisy shot me a sidelong glance. Seeing that I was still in the mood to laugh only annoyed her further. She asked if I could be serious. "I am serious," I replied. Daisy threw her hands up, declaring the situation completely untenable. "Look, Kira, I still have some money on my card. Book a flight somewhere and go relax first. Let whoever wants to clean up this mess do it." She pressed the card into my hand and pulled me to my feet. "Just fly out. If you need more money, I'll ask my dad." I pushed the card back to her. "It's no use. I was banned from leaving the country this morning." Daisy cursed my father again, a real tirade. After her anger subsided, she asked, "What do we do now?" "What else? We earn money to pay off the debts." I took over the failing company my father left behind. The employees were still there, but they were all anxious and bewildered. They looked at me as if I were their savior. Ms. Jiang, will we be laid off?" I immediately felt the heavy weight of responsibility. With a sigh, I said, "Don't worry, as long as I'm here, that won't happen." As I uttered those words, I still didn't realize I was speaking too soon. The company was drowning in debt. My father had fled, taking all the money from the bank accounts. The main production lines had completely ceased operations. No goods meant no profit. The most crucial and urgent task now was to find investors. I spent an entire day making calls. Fortunately, an investor who used to be quite close to my father agreed to meet. He was very cordial, telling me to come to his private hotel room at 7 p.m. to discuss business. He even said he and my father were good friends, and he would definitely help me. Upon arrival, I discovered that the room wasn't empty. There were quite a few other people with him. "Director Wu, who are these gentlemen?" Director Wu grinned, clapped me on the shoulder, and pulled me down into a chair. "They're all close friends of your dad, ha ha ha." All eyes at the table simultaneously turned to me. I glanced around. Indeed, there were a few familiar faces, all people who often appeared at my father's social gatherings. My heart felt a little at ease, and I decided to get straight to the point. Director Wu, I came here to discuss investment. Oh, we're having such a good time eating and drinking, there's no need to rush that, he interrupted, then urged everyone to eat and drink. The table erupted in lively chatter, discussing everything from the trivial to social matters, but not a single person mentioned investment. I knew better than to rush, so I silently ate small bites. When I was half full, he suddenly offered me a small glass of wine. Kira, why are you just eating and not saying anything? Have a little wine to liven things up. Before the glass even reached my face, I caught a strong, unpleasant smell of alcohol. Director Wu, I'm allergic to alcohol. I politely refused. Come on, your father used to bring you along many times. I've never seen you refuse wine. He insisted, pressing. Drink up, drink up. As he spoke, he pulled my shoulder and tried to bring the glass to my lips. Everyone's eyes were fixed on me, with a deep, unspoken meaning, their smiles unwavering. I understood, they had no intention of investing at all. I shoved his hand away with force, and the glass of white wine in his hand spilled directly onto him. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. At that moment, I hadn't truly turned hostile. His face immediately became serious. Kira, if you don't drink, how can we talk business? You know how complicated your father's situation is. Do you know how many connections I had to pull to get these people here tonight? Oh, such grand connections, I sneered, glancing at him contemptuously but still trying to endure. Yes, so what exactly is your intention, Director? His glib mouth continued to pour out sweet words. I see you as family, but in business, profit is paramount. It's not impossible to invest, but if I help you today, how will you repay me? By this point, his gaze was no longer veiled, clearly showing his lecherous intent. He looked me up and down, his hand coarsely sliding up my shoulder. Opportunities only come 3 times. I smiled, gently placed my hand on the back of his, and to the blatant anticipation of everyone present, I twisted his wrist sharply. A loud snap echoed, followed by a pathetic shriek like a pig being slaughtered. You disgusting toad, trying to eat swan meat. How shameful. Is there anything else in your head besides filth? Next time you want to talk, think carefully, you scumbag. Still fuming, I kicked him again. Then I turned to leave. He reacted quickly, immediately raising his other hand to stop me. You think you can just leave? Grab her for me. From outside, a group of men immediately flooded in. Even though I studied Taekwondo, I knew I couldn't fight off a crowd. I yelled loudly, I'd like to see who dares touch me. Director Wu sneered. You think I'm scared of you? I'll tell you, I'm not afraid of your father either. You're not even afraid of my father, so you don't care about Ethan Quynn either? I calmly retorted. Immediately, the room fell into an eerie silence. The men who had been eager to rush forward froze, hesitation clearly etched on their faces. I couldn't blame them. Who didn't know about Ethan Quynn, the powerful young master of Beijing? His status was beyond question, ruthless, cold-blooded, and cruel. Anyone who dared to offend him never met a good end. You dare to use his name to escape. From the moment Daisy picked me up from the hotel and heard my story of how I'd fended for myself, she was so shocked she slammed on the car brakes. I didn't care. Who else is there? He's my biggest creditor, isn't he? Indeed, out of my tens of millions in debt, Ethan Quynn alone accounted for over 2 million. He was also the main reason my family fell into such dire straits. My father had spent his entire life trying to curry favor with those in power. Yet with just one displeased word, they had made him lose everything. I had never met Ethan Quynn even once, but I had no choice but to use his name to protect myself. Who told him to destroy my family's company, plunge me into overwhelming debt, and then I even had to use him to spread some rumors, intimidate others, and earn money to pay off those debts. In this day and age, who isn't entangled in a few rumors? Even if those rumors reached Ethan Quynn, he was surely too busy to care. The number of people demanding repayment grew steadily, and I knew for sure the bald Director Wu was behind it. Feeling helpless, I continued to invoke Ethan Quinn's name. Whenever they heard his name, everyone hesitated. After a few times using him as a shield, most creditors understood the relationship between me and Ethan Quynn. Kira Jiang, the eldest daughter of the now bankrupt Jiang family. I heard she's involved with that asterisk person. They say Mr. Quynn once pursued her unsuccessfully, and out of love turned hatred, he drove her family to bankruptcy. What else? The Jiang family wasn't a powerful clan. Why would Mr. Quynn personally intervene? He probably just wanted to force her into submission. Sigh, it's all just rich people's games. Outside, the rumors grew increasingly exaggerated. Of course, I had no idea. I just knew that the number of people coming to collect debts had significantly decreased. So, I seized the opportunity to contact investors. Then, because of Daisy's situation, things took an unexpected turn. Kira saved me? Aha! Hearing that, I rushed to the location Daisy had given me. As soon as I arrived, I saw her being held tightly in the corner of the room. Daisy! I was about to rush forward but was blocked by a large, dark-skinned bodyguard. Following his gaze, I finally recognized the other people in the room. They were all acquaintances. Before my family went bankrupt, we used to gather frequently. After the incident, we hadn't kept in touch. However, there was one person I had never met. Sitting at the dealer's position was a young man in a white shirt and black trousers. He had a very scholarly appearance. He wore classic gold-rimmed glasses, exuding elegance and sophistication. No wonder I noticed him instantly. The moment I saw him was also the moment he just played a tile. Two of bamboos. His voice was as cold as he was. A bodyguard approached and whispered a few words to him. He looked up. I was sure that icy gaze was directed at me. I still couldn't understand what was happening. The bodyguard turned and led me to the mahjong table. I sat down opposite the mysterious man. Ah, Ms. Kira Jiang, Daisy lost at mahjong and owes you 700,000 dong. 700,000? I stared at Daisy in astonishment. She looked flustered. I knew she liked to play mahjong, but never this big. She must have been tricked. I signaled to her with my eyes. Daisy blinked, indicating she understood. Then she winked again, as if she wanted me to pay attention to the man in glasses opposite us. Had he tricked Daisy? I understand, I nodded to her, ignoring her rapidly winking eyes. So, how do we pay? I asked softly. The man looked at his companion, then at me. Do you know how to play mahjong? One hand. If you win, the 700,000 dong debt will be cleared. I secretly glanced at Daisy, finally confirming she had been trapped. Don't worry, I'll rescue you. The sound of mahjong tiles shuffling echoed through the room. No one dared to utter a word, the clack of tiles being played. I felt something was off, but because of Daisy, I could only focus on the game at hand. Mid-game, the man opposite suddenly spoke. Ms. Kira, have you ever been to Beijing? No, I haven't, I replied as I played a tile. Do you know Ethan Quynn? Who? I blurted out. Immediately, the entire room fell silent. I sensed something strange. The man paused, his gaze sharp, his presence overwhelming. Only then did I realize he had just asked me. Ah, Ethan Quynn? Yes, I know him. Quite close, actually. I heard Ethan Quynn once pursued you. Oh, that's ancient history, a long time ago. As the game neared its end, my luck kept getting worse. I ignored the changing expressions of the two people beside me. Only the man opposite remained calm and composed. Truly a man of exceptional demeanor, and his playing style was incredibly steady. I secretly admired him. Suddenly, he spoke. I'm also curious to meet Ethan Quynn. Ms. Kira, how about you introduce me to him? I'm afraid that might not be possible. He's very busy. I still didn't look up. Suddenly, a soft chuckle broke the silence. I glanced over, seeing the man slightly bowing his head, a captivating smile gracing his thin lips. He said, I heard Ms. Kira is looking for investors. If you introduce me, investment won't be an issue. It was at this point that I truly realized something was wrong. This man harbored an unpredictable danger. He was not simple. Since the beginning of our conversation, he had repeatedly brought up Ethan Quynn. Was he trying to get close to Ethan Quynn through me? But I didn't even know Ethan Quynn. I remained silent, hoping to finish this game quickly and escape with Daisy. Unexpectedly, the moment I played a tile, the man opposite immediately revealed his hand. Mahjong? That's all. What did you just play? It was clearly me. I suddenly woke up. I had been tricked. This man had set a trap for me. The opponent calmly said, You lost. That's another 70 million. In total, you and your friend owe me 140 million. I didn't need to look. Daisy must have her eyes squeezed shut in despair. I glared at him furiously. The opponent continued, but there's a way for Ms. Kira not to pay this amount. What way? Just call Ethan Quynn. No, thank you. Anyway, I already owe a few million. An extra 100 million won't make much difference. He must not have expected me to accept so easily. He looked at me skeptically. You definitely don't have his number, do you? How could I? Then try calling. I forgot his number a long time ago. I deleted and blocked it ages ago. No problem, I still have his number here. He nodded, signaling for a bodyguard to hand me a phone. I took it, slightly suspicious, and glanced through it. It was real, his address was still in Beijing. He didn't take his eyes off me for a second. His dark eyes seemed to exert an invisible pressure. I decided to disregard everything and just dial the number. The phone rang throughout the room. It actually connected? I was astonished. But wait, the ringing was coming from the opposite direction. I looked up in horror, and the man calmly pulled out the ringing phone from his pocket. His eyes were cold, serene, and slightly upturned at the corners, as if smiling without truly smiling. Perhaps I should reintroduce myself. I am also Ethan Quynn. Oh no, I'm doomed? Sisters, this is not good. To avoid creditors, I fabricated a story about a Beijing business scion pursuing me. Now I've been caught red-handed by the very person himself. Daisy's face was ashen, like a ghost. The phone in my hand felt burning hot. The man opposite me had just hung up. He leaned forward slightly, hands propped on his chin. Ms. Kira, I heard you've been spreading rumors everywhere that I'm pursuing you, that you still harbor old feelings for me. That you also have other dark intentions. Isn't it love turned into hatred? Every word he spoke made me tremble. HMPH, I felt cold sweat about to break out. His gaze seemed to say, explain yourself, logically and reasonably. There was nothing to explain. It was all just rumors I fabricated, but admitting the truth would be utterly humiliating. Remembering what everyone said about Ethan Quynn, my mind worked at full capacity. So what? I lifted my head and looked him straight in the eye. The man paused slightly, then a dangerous smile flickered in his eyes. You dared to spread rumors about me? How audacious. Immediately, the two bodyguards behind me stepped forward. They didn't say a word, but the pressure they exuded was heavy as a mountain. No, please don't. I did it for a reason. The two men tightened their grip on my shoulders. It hurts, it really hurts. Ethan Quynn spoke up. Let's see. Actually, I just wanted to get your attention. I closed my eyes and shouted. The shame has hit rock bottom, it can't get any worse. The entire room fell into an eerie silence. I kept my eyes closed. I didn't need to look at anyone else. Just a glimpse of Ethan Quinn's expression would tell me how astonished he was. I opened my eyes and started babbling. It's true, I like you. I liked you from the first time I saw you. I want to pursue you. Thanks to my natural talent for lying, I escaped disaster. Daisy was still in shock. Oh my God, I was so scared that Mr. Quynn would throw you to the sharks. You don't know how surprised his face was when you said that. If there's anything more embarrassing than being caught in a lie, it's standing in front of that person and confessing your feelings, only to fail spectacularly and be met with, it would be strange if I believed you. Then he dismissed me with a stern face. I didn't ask why Ethan Quynn was at Daisy's gambling session. Perhaps the widespread rumors had prepared me, the one who had smeared his reputation, for this encounter. It's just that today he truly surprised me. Daisy pressed her card into my hand. Kira, this is my card. There's only 1 million left. Maybe you can pay him a little more? Right after playing cards, I owed him over 100 million. No, it's fine. A little debt won't hurt. I have a plan. Then you must be careful. I tried my best to act calm, but in reality, the moment Daisy left, my mind was in a complete tangle. Oh no, I've angered Ethan Quynn. With his temper, will he take revenge on me? Indeed, my premonition was not wrong. The next morning, as soon as I arrived at the company, someone rushed in to report, Ms. Jiang, someone is here to see you. In this situation, anyone looking for me was either a creditor or a salesperson. I pushed open the door and sure enough came face to face with the person I least wanted to see and my biggest creditor at that. Ethan Quinn's presence surprised me, followed by an indescribable awkwardness. Haha, Mr. Quynn, what brings you here? Ethan Quynn casually sat in my executive armchair. He coldly scanned the photos on my desk. Even my father's former lawyer was present. Ethan Quinn's presence made me feel incredibly suffocated. Silently, I moved closer and asked the lawyer, Attorney Yang, this is... Ms. Kira, I am currently Mr. Quinn's lawyer, he replied. I swallowed my irritation, saying nothing more. Attorney Yang cleared his throat, ignoring my furious gaze. He spoke in a dry tone. Ms. Kira, I have come to meet you on behalf of Mr. Quynn and his company to discuss an acquisition. Acquisition? To my astonishment, Attorney Yang pulled out a contract. Ms. Kira, I have reviewed the contract and there are no issues. Oh, so the contract was prepared in advance. It seems Ethan Quynn had made his decision last night. Sorry, I don't agree. I threw the stack of contracts back at him, then walked to stand in front of Ethan Quynn. Get up. He glanced at me, his gaze so light, yet I still felt an invisible pressure. I took a deep breath and replied, The company is not for sale, you can forget about it. Ethan Quynn tilted his head slightly, showing a hint of surprise. Even though he seemed so calm, why did he still exude such an indescribable pressure? Kira Jiang, does your company currently have any better plan to sustain itself? If you stubbornly refuse to sell, you won't even be able to pay your employees next month's salaries. You don't need to worry about that, I insisted, unwavering. It's useless, no matter who comes. Attorney Yang then brought up my father. Ms. Kira, I have contacted Mr. Jiang. He has already agreed, you just need to sign. The moment he mentioned my father, I immediately felt much more irritated. Otherwise, I might have been able to maintain my composure more easily. If he agreed, then let him sign it. I am currently the decision maker for this company. What right does he have to give orders here? Attorney Yang fell silent. Understanding my personality, he turned to Ethan Quynn for help. I didn't miss this opportunity, figuring I had already offended Ethan Quynn. Mr. Quynn, please give me some time. I will definitely repay you the money. You are truly intelligent, handsome, talented, and of good character. I clasped my hands, showing my sincerity with both softness and determination. Finally, Ethan Quynn looked at me. He glanced over me, then gave a faint smile, but that smile was chillingly cold. The words he spoke were even harsher. I'll give you a week to think about it. With that, he lightly brushed a photo on the table, stood up, and left. I remained rooted to the spot. I knew Ethan Quynn was not someone who gave up easily. If he truly wanted to acquire my company, there would be countless ways for him to achieve his goal. I could only try my best, racing against time to find partners, trying to avoid the fate of being taken over. Some days I had to attend 4 or 5 meetings continuously. After the company's bankruptcy, there were still many who wanted to see me fail. I maintained my calm expression, drinking 2 more glasses of wine. After the banquet, my stomach was burning. I bent over as I walked out of the room, accidentally bumping into someone. Excuse me, could you please call an ambulance for me? Silence enveloped us, a familiar silence. I looked up, astonished to realize the person standing before me was Ethan Quynn. How unlucky, I cursed silently, feeling utterly vexed, but could only feign weakness and endure. Do you please help me call an ambulance? Please, I beg you. Even in a weakened state, I clung to that sliver of pity. Ethan Quynn kindly dialed 115 and the ambulance arrived very quickly. I was placed on a stretcher. The nurse asked me, "Who is family? Is there anyone accompanying her?" I'm her boyfriend. I pointed desperately at Ethan Quynn, who was about to leave. He froze and looked at me skeptically. I didn't miss the chance, immediately grabbing his coat. Don't even think about escaping. I'm out of money. As soon as I finished speaking, I felt my head spin and then I passed out. When I regained consciousness, I heard voices talking. Mr. Quynn, the hospital bill has been paid. When will she wake up? The doctor said it shouldn't be more than half an hour. A pause followed. I recognized Attorney Yang's voice calling, Mr. Quynn. I was about to open my eyes and look around when I heard Attorney Yang say, Mr. Quynn, I think you might be going a bit too far. Yes, exactly. He was indeed that kind of person, utterly ruthless. Finally, someone said what I was thinking. I couldn't help but secretly praise Attorney Yang, also telling myself that the annual lawyer's fee my father paid him was, after all, somewhat valuable. But after Attorney Yang's words, the room fell silent again. Perhaps it didn't have much effect. Footsteps echoed, someone was approaching my hospital bed. I felt a gaze lingering on my face. Too direct. That gaze made me a little uncomfortable. I closed my eyes, pretending to be asleep. Unexpectedly, the gaze drew closer, as if right beside me. Then my forehead was lightly flicked. Ow, that hurts. I rubbed my forehead, opened my eyes, and saw Ethan Quynn leaning over, a finger gently touching my forehead. He withdrew his hand and stood upright. It seems you're awake. I glared at him, a little angry. I was a patient right now. Ethan Quynn seemed unconcerned by my anger. He stood tall and imposing by the bedside, his eyes coldly looking down at me. I was furious but powerless to resist. Mr. Quynn, I'm very grateful you brought me to the hospital. My father once hurt you, and you also brought hardship to my family. I hope you can be magnanimous and not make things difficult for me anymore. Ethan Quynn remained silent, then he left. I breathed a sigh of relief as I saw him off. I had to stay in the hospital for 2 days for IV fluids. Upon discharge, I once again frantically sought out potential investors. Perhaps my previous words had an effect. Ethan Quynn truly stopped bothering me. After some effort, I finally found someone who agreed to invest capital. Although the amount wasn't huge, it was enough to help me resolve immediate difficulties. Coincidentally, I heard my investor was ill. I bought a bouquet of flowers to visit him. To my surprise, I encountered someone completely unexpected at the hospital, Ethan Quynn. He was lying in bed, his handsome face now pale. He looked weaker than before, but his gaze was still as cold as ever. He frowned and said in an icy voice, "Don't let anyone know I'm hospitalized." Beside him was Attorney Yang. Attorney Yang had just nodded a greeting when, turning around, he saw me. What an incredible coincidence. Do you believe it? I know luck can change, but I didn't expect it to change so quickly. Last month I was in the hospital, now it's Ethan Quinn's turn. I stood there, clutching the bouquet, stunned, unsure whether to stay or leave. Remembering Ethan Quinn's words, I quickly covered my eyes. Oh, my eyes, I can't see anything. I intended to turn and leave. From behind, Ethan Quinn's voice called my name. "Kira Jiang, come in." It must be his personality. I thought he actually meant to order, "Kira Jiang, get in here immediately." 5 minutes later, I stood in Ethan Quinn's hospital room. Under his silently murderous gaze and the calm pressure he exerted, I trembled as I spoke. "Actually, I was just passing by. A client of mine is also hospitalized here. I came to visit him and I brought flowers." I waved the bouquet in my hand. Ethan Quynn didn't move. Attorney Yang looked at me with an expression that seemed to lament my fate. I wanted to cry but couldn't shed a tear. "Really, everyone, please believe me." I didn't hear anything. Ethan Quynn waved his hand, signaling me to come closer. "Did you really not hear anything?" Then why did you run away just now?" Attorney Yang was about to speak when Ethan Quynn cut him off. "You can go home. If anything comes up, I'll contact you. Do you need me to find a caregiver for you?" "Not necessary." After the lawyer left, only Ethan Quynn and I remained in the hospital room. I glanced around the room. I wondered if I knocked Ethan Quynn out and escaped, what would be my chances of survival? Surprisingly, not long after, Ethan Quynn spoke. "Didn't you have a client to meet? Why haven't you left yet?" He actually agreed to let me go? My eyes instantly lit up. True to my nature, I would have immediately turned and left without hesitation. However, remembering the last time Ethan Quynn took me to the hospital, I looked at him once more. On the hospital bed, he lay alone, a lonely and somewhat pathetic sight. About an hour later, I returned. Ethan Quynn was deep in thought. I lightly knocked on the door to get his attention. When he saw me, he showed a fleeting moment of surprise. I approached his bed. "I bought you some food and also picked up a few books for you to read and pass the time when you're free." I stepped closer, forcing a strained, polite smile. Ethan Quynn watched me for a long moment, then asked why I had returned. To be honest, it definitely wasn't entirely out of pity. I thought to myself, he's the one I owe money to. Now he's sick. This is a good opportunity for me to show concern and curry favor with him. I just smiled faintly, not answering. Ethan Quynn observed me as I took things out of my bag one by one. Suddenly, he blurted out something unrelated. "I don't like you." I scrutinized him a few times. He maintained his cold and arrogant demeanor. I didn't know how to explain. Last time I was just joking. Who knew he'd take it so seriously? Even now, he's still giving me the cold shoulder, rejecting me. I changed the subject. "These are your books." Seeing that I said nothing further, Ethan Quynn gripped the blanket tightly. He ate the porridge I brought, occasionally looking up at me. The next day, I visited him again. This time, Ethan Quynn couldn't hide his suspicion. "What kind of client do you visit so frequently?" "Aren't you that client?" I replied naturally. Ethan Quynn fell silent again. I looked up at him and explained, "Aren't you hiring a caregiver? If no one takes care of you, how will you eat? Honestly, I'm beautiful and kind and I don't get angry easily. Is there anyone else like me in this world?" This time, Ethan Quynn looked at me with a more pensive gaze. I didn't pay much attention, telling myself that I had helped and repaid him in some small way. If Ethan Quynn still had any conscience, he surely wouldn't force me to repay the debt so soon. Ethan Quynn stayed in the hospital for a week. He recovered very quickly. I told myself that my efforts in bringing him food probably contributed to it. Moreover, I was very discreet. Although curious about the reason for his hospitalization, I didn't ask a single word. On the day he was discharged, Attorney Yang came to pick him up. I stood on the roadside, waving goodbye to Ethan Quynn. He was rarely not aloof with me. A slight nod replaced a word of thanks. Afterwards, Attorney Yang, my lawyer, texted me, "Ms. Kira, this is Mr. Quinn's phone number. Please connect with him." I quickly saved the number. Not long after, I secured a contract worth 5 million yuan. With Daisy's dedicated help, the old production line was restarted. Finally, I had some capital to repay Ethan Quynn. I took a screenshot of the transfer transaction and sent it to him, only to receive a question mark in reply. I immediately sent another message. Paid 3xxx, remaining 2xx. I understood that Ethan Quynn was born with a silver spoon. He probably didn't care about such a small amount of money. The surprising thing was that right after that message, he suddenly called me. I respectfully answered the phone. "Hello, Mr. Quynn. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., come to my villa." He rattled off the address and hung up immediately. Curious, I arrived at the address he provided exactly on time the next day. Ethan Quynn personally led me to a private dinner party. I stared at him in disbelief. Ethan Quynn asked, "Did you bring business cards?" "Yes, I did," he simply replied. "Good." I still didn't understand the meaning of his question. Stepping inside, I quickly realized. Ethan Quynn was the only son of one of Beijing's most powerful families. The guests at this party were all high-ranking members of society or the elite. Everyone I met was a potential client, an invaluable resource. From then on, Ethan Quynn didn't need to remind me. Whenever he introduced me to a guest, I would proactively hand out my business card. Kira Jiang. Everyone who received a card looked at both me and Ethan Quynn, then nodded slightly and smiled. Thanks to Ethan Quynn, I had the opportunity to meet many important people that evening. Some even expressed interest in collaborating with me. When the party ended, I hummed a cheerful tune as I walked toward the underground parking lot. Halfway there, I realized Ethan Quynn wasn't following. I stopped and turned around. He stood 3 steps behind me, his posture relaxed, tall, and long-legged. In my exhilarated state, I walked back to him, not forgetting to express my gratitude. "Mr. Quynn, thank you so much for today. You're truly a good person." Ethan Quynn glanced at me, his eyes as cold as ice. "Don't mention it. I will always remember your help and find a way to repay you. I must say you have a commendable character. I hope to meet more people like you." I smiled, eyes slightly narrowed, the compliments flowing naturally. Ethan Quynn hummed softly in acknowledgement. I knew too well that the people who took my business card tonight were only doing so out of respect for Ethan Quynn, but if an opportunity arose, why let it pass? "Mr. Quynn, next time there's a similar occasion, may I accompany you?" I proactively took another step forward. Ethan Quynn replied, "You certainly know how to seize an opportunity." I chuckled softly twice. Ethan Quynn started the car. "So, what benefits do you want?" "Many benefits, such as when you're bored, you can find me for a drink and a chat. I grew up here, so I know the roads very well." Ethan Quynn curved his lips slightly in a smile but didn't respond to my offer. I thought this was perhaps his polite way of refusing. Unexpectedly, Ethan Quynn truly did seek me out when he had free time. He traveled between Beijing and here, attending numerous large and small parties in the elite circles, but always alone. This time, he suddenly brought me along. The entire social circle buzzed with gossip because of it. This was the first time since my bankruptcy that I had stepped into such extravagant parties. Everyone's eyes were on me. It wasn't hard to notice. But I didn't particularly care. Currently, I was the sole decision-maker at Jiang Corporation. My position had surpassed the petty rivalries of social gatherings. Occasionally, Ethan Quynn would ask me questions, mostly about the local social scene, various relationships, and other business sectors. When it came to these topics, I shared openly, without holding anything back. After explaining thoroughly, I would ask, "Why are you asking these things?" "Just curious." Of course, it couldn't just be curiosity. How could a wealthy young master from Beijing stay here for a year and a half just out of curiosity? I was smart enough not to press further. By the latter half of the year, I received the final payment from a collaborative project. After paying employee salaries and settling all debts, I had not a single penny left, but I had learned to complain about my financial situation in front of Ethan Quynn. I sent him a screenshot of my bank balance with a begging emoji. "Have to pay debts again?" Ethan Quynn didn't reply immediately. However, that afternoon, right after I finished work, I received a call from him. "I'm waiting for you in the company lobby." I went downstairs and sure enough saw Ethan Quinn's car. "You don't have dinner plans tonight, do you?" "No, I'm taking you to make money." As soon as I heard that, I immediately felt incredibly excited. "Are you planning to go gambling tonight?" Ethan Quynn remained silent, his eyes seeming to answer for him. Yes, wealthy young master Ethan Quynn had no other hobbies besides gambling. Ethan Quynn and I got to know each other through card games. From the day he arrived at the company, countless people wanted to curry favor with him. But young master Ethan Quynn didn't let just anyone sit at his table. Don't think of it as just a casual card game. Young Master Quynn brought development plans from Beijing to other regions. Many people seized the opportunity during card games to approach and build relationships with Ethan Quynn, hoping to gain insider information to seize opportunities before others. Over the past 6 months, Ethan Quynn had brought me to participate in card games many times. It's no exaggeration. Once, I even won a project worth $10 million. This time, when Ethan Quynn said he would take me to make money, I knew an opportunity had arrived again. I followed him to the venue. Almost everyone was already there. Upon seeing Ethan Quynn, everyone showed their respect. Thanks to that, I also received a bit of that favorable attention. "Mr. Quynn, everyone is waiting for you to start the game." Everyone spoke enthusiastically. Ethan Quynn showed no surprise. He pushed me forward. "Tonight, she will be the main player." Ethan Quynn turned to look at me, then leaned down and whispered, "Same rules. If you win, it's yours." I understood his meaning. Led by Ethan Quynn, I sat down at the card table. Everyone burst into laughter upon seeing this. "Last time playing cards with Ms. Jiang, she was really good." "That's right, I still remember." I smiled, politely greeted everyone, and then started playing. Ethan Quynn pulled up a chair and sat next to me. Occasionally, he would lean close to my ear, guiding me on a few moves. Everyone else just focused on their own cards, each minding their own business. As for me, I just focused on the cards in my hand. Ethan Quynn was an excellent card player. Under his guidance, I quickly and accurately selected cards. My card-playing skills also improved significantly. Pong, Chow, Mahjong, I won continuously. I smiled, my eyes crinkling, pocketing quite a bit after the evening. Afterwards, praised by everyone, I left with Ethan Quynn. I didn't forget to express my gratitude to Ethan Quynn. When he drove me home, I offered him half of my winnings from that night. Ethan Quynn glanced at it, then commented, "Not bad." I froze. Was he complimenting me? Fortunately, I reacted quickly. "Isn't it thanks to your meticulous guidance, your extraordinary wisdom, your exceptional talent, skilled in both scholarship and martial arts?" At this point, I had countless things to boast about. Ethan Quynn raised a hand to stop me. "All right, that's enough." I obediently mimed, locking my mouth, silent. Ethan Quynn chuckled softly. "Quite sharp, aren't you?" He leaned down, his affectionate gaze sweeping over the corners of my eyes and eyebrows. The streetlights outside the car window illuminated his face. It sounded like a casual reproach but made me feel slightly flustered. Ethan Quinn's tone was truly. I thought about tonight's card game. He sat right next to me, only a dozen centimeters away. To guide me, he deliberately spoke softly. One hand rested casually on the back of my chair. When he leaned in to draw cards, his posture was slightly tilted, carrying a strong, cold aura. From that angle, I felt as if he was holding me in his embrace. I tried to ignore my accelerating heartbeat, but I subtly realized that the relationship between Ethan Quynn and I seemed to be vaguely changing, needing only one thin layer to break through. In truth, rumors about the relationship between Ethan Quynn and me had always existed. Many people thought we were already together, but I was busy with work and didn't pay attention. Ethan Quynn also remained silent, so people could only speculate. Whenever he and I appeared together, they would cling to those rumors as proof. "Tomorrow, I have a business trip," Ethan Quynn announced. "Yes, okay." How strange. Why would the young master inform me of his schedule? Before I got out of the car, Ethan Quynn added, "If anything comes up, just call me." I nodded, thinking to myself, what trouble could I possibly have? Usually, he's the one looking for me. I just need to be ready at any time. Unexpectedly, just 2 days after Ethan Quynn left, I ran into trouble. The reason was that I was at a party with a business partner. At that party, I coincidentally met someone I never expected, Director Wu. If there was anyone I had truly clashed with since the bankruptcy, it was certainly Director Wu. In the beginning, when I asked him for investment, he tried to take advantage of me. The result was that I dislocated his wrist. Later, I used Ethan Quinn's name to make him retreat. Meeting him again this time, I wasn't jealous, but I certainly didn't have any good feelings for him. He looked at me with a displeased gaze but still had to act politely out of respect for Ethan Quynn. "Ms. Jiang, I behaved improperly before and offended you. I hope you can forgive me." Director Wu brought a glass of wine to me. My eyes were fixed on his plump, trembling hand as he gripped the glass. "It's fine, I really don't mind." He forced a laugh, then emptied his glass. He continued, "Ms. Jiang, you see I've drunk it. Would you really stay angry with me and not drink?" All eyes at the table turned to me. I cursed at him silently, but outwardly I smiled, raised my glass, and drained it in one go. Excellent, Ms. Jiang is truly capable, no less than a man. A hollow compliment. I subtly sneered. Halfway through the party, I started to feel something was wrong. Excuse me, I need to use the restroom for a moment. I feigned an excuse to leave. As I walked out of the restroom and down the hallway, a large hand suddenly clamped over my mouth. You fell into a trap once before, haven't you learned your lesson? I shot a sideward glance, my patience gone. Immediately, I grabbed his arm tightly, bent down, and twisted hard. Ah. When Ethan Quynn arrived at the hospital, the doctor had just finished bandaging me. Kira Jiang, he stormed in, cold air and pressure radiating everywhere. His gaze was dark, and he stood before me like a black storm. I shivered slightly, looking wronged. Ethan Quynn, his formidable aura softened somewhat. I saw him sigh, the sound growing heavier. What happened? That Wu guy bullied me, I tattled. He turned his head and looked around. Where is he? He's in surgery. It turned out he was even more injured than I was. This time, I hadn't held back. I had put my full strength into it. I recounted the entire incident to Ethan Quynn. Beside him, Attorney Yang adjusted his glasses. Yes, young master, I can testify that Ms. Jiang was only acting in legitimate self-defense. Ethan Quynn asked, then why is your arm in this condition? Ah, because that fat guy was too heavy. When I tried to throw him over my shoulder, I almost couldn't lift him. My entire arm got twisted. Ethan Quynn remained silent, then he drove me home. Perhaps he had a lot to say, but in the end he only said, be more careful next time. I asked him why he came back so early. Ethan Quynn, nothing. When work is done, I come back. I thought you were supposed to be gone for a whole week. It was supposed to be. He answered too candidly. I didn't know what else to say. Instinctively, I felt I shouldn't continue this topic. I even felt a bit anxious hearing his reason for returning early. Luckily, I didn't ask further. Ethan Quynn also remained silent. While my arm was injured, Ethan Quynn took diligent care of me. This utterly surprised me. Why would such a great young master humble himself like this? I repeatedly waved my hands, refusing, but he just gave a slight glance, and I immediately fell silent. Reflecting, this opportunity was truly rare. Wouldn't it be a waste not to take advantage of it? Later, Daisy heard about my arm and came to visit. She happened to see Ethan Quynn carrying a stack of dishes into the kitchen. Am I seeing things? Daisy cautiously approached to check. She seemed hesitant around Ethan Quynn, not daring to face him directly. Daisy asked if my arm felt better. I replied it was almost fully healed. She then asked, so he's been taking care of you all this time? I nodded. Daisy looked surprised for a few seconds, her eyes full of curiosity as she looked at both of us. What do you think? Hey, Kira, I'm not just saying this myself, but young Master Quynn definitely likes you. I just smiled, not daring to answer. After Ethan Quynn left the room, I didn't even dare to look him in the eye. Half a month later, my arm had fully recovered. To express my gratitude for Ethan Quinn's care, I planned to treat him to a meal. He said, coincidentally, I have friends visiting, let's all meet together. Ethan Quynn led me to a place that felt somewhat familiar. This is where Ethan Quynn and I first met. Why are you bringing me here? Ethan Quynn didn't explain, and I didn't feel it appropriate to ask. I quietly followed him. He stopped at the door of a private room. With a look of doubt, I opened the door and stepped in. Lively chatter and laughter poured out as the door opened. Then, the room suddenly fell silent because everyone simultaneously turned their eyes to us. Ethan Quynn and I had known each other for a long time. I had met all his friends. But the people present here, I had absolutely no recollection of. The only thing I noticed was that they all spoke with a Beijing accent, just like Ethan Quynn. I understood these must be Ethan Quinn's friends from Beijing. For some reason, I felt a little flustered. I was truly surprised that Ethan Quynn brought me here. Moreover, judging by their conversations and demeanor, it was clear their relationship with Ethan Quynn was more than just simple friendship. I looked at Ethan Quynn. He signaled for me to come in. Second brother, you're here? Everyone called Ethan Quynn that. Ethan Quynn nodded in reply, then turned his attention to me. This is Kira Jiang, a brief introduction. Someone among them suddenly remembered something. I remember now. Oh my God, are you Kira Jiang? Haha, it's such an honor to meet you. Everyone was so enthusiastic that I couldn't cope. In that situation, I could only look to Ethan Quynn for help. He didn't disappoint me. He said I was shy and waved those people away. According to Ethan Quynn, these friends had come down from Beijing for a visit and planned to stay for at least a month. I understood. They were probably visiting Ethan Quynn. You don't need to worry about them, just continue with your work. This time, they came down for some projects that are about to start in this area, Ethan Quynn informed me. I couldn't help but be surprised. Was this confidential information? Was it okay to say this? It's fine, we're just making small talk. Ethan Quynn had created countless valuable opportunities for me. He had been here for almost 2 years until the main project officially transitioned from paper plans to implementation. When the project became operational, the development potential of the area was unlocked. I seized one of those opportunities. The company, once on the verge of bankruptcy, finally revived and developed strongly. After paying off all debts, the company continued its brilliant growth trajectory. The relationship between Ethan Quynn and I remained unchanged. He was still the arrogant and outstanding Beijing heir. Besides liking to tease me, he often invited me to play cards. "Oh, come on, why don't you play yourself?" I turned to look at him. "What's wrong? I've played too much, I'm a bit embarrassed." I leaned close to his ear and whispered. Ethan Quynn smiled. He placed one hand on the back of my chair and with the other helped me draw cards. What is there to worry about? They've lost quite a bit already. As soon as he finished speaking, a few curious glances turned toward us. There's really no need to be so showy. Ethan Quynn said nothing more. He pulled his chair closer and sat right next to me. I was about to give him my seat, but he held me firmly. Just sit there. Just one card game made my heart pound, especially when everyone occasionally glanced at me as if trying to read my mind. Mid-game, Ethan Quynn received a call and left. I took over for him. Everyone started chatting. "Ms. Jiang and my second brother are very close, aren't they?" "It's nothing special. I heard you're pursuing my second brother." The young master who lost a project to me last time now looked at me with an innocent expression. "Did I say something wrong? Where did you hear that?" "My second brother told me. He said you like him." "You've liked him since the first time you met, and you've done all sorts of things to get his attention." Before I could even fully recover, he moved closer. "Hey, what do you think of my brother?" He's very good." My gaze drifted toward the entrance. "When did Ethan Quynn come back? You also think he's good, right? Do you intend to take things further with him?" Cough, 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 I suddenly coughed. "Honestly, my brother comes from a good, clean background. The important thing is he's very serious, not a playboy at all. He has money, looks, and power. Investing in him definitely won't be a loss." The young master opposite continued to chatter incessantly. "Don't just think my brother is handsome. He's never even held a girl's hand. Did he tell you he has a younger brother? His older brother is very principled. His wife controls the entire family. Of course, he has many pursuers, but you're the first one to be so bold and proactive. They say the first person to eat a crab is a hero. The one who conquers my brother is you." Ethan Quynn and I had known each other for almost 2 years, but this was the first time someone had discussed our relationship so frankly. "Hey, I'm really not lying. My brother is about to return to Beijing. If you don't act fast, he'll be gone." "Huh, Ethan Quynn is going back to Beijing? Why didn't he say anything to me about this?" I was a little stunned. Ethan Quynn had just walked in. The talkative young master immediately fell silent. "What's wrong?" Noticing my unhappy expression, Ethan Quynn looked at the young master. "What nonsense were you talking about again?" "Nothing," I quickly covered up. "It's nothing, please sit down." Ethan Quynn looked at me suspiciously. The card game ended and Ethan Quynn, as usual, drove me home. The car was unusually quiet. Ethan Quynn drove, the streetlights illuminating his high nose bridge and thick eyebrows. "Ah, Ethan Quynn, I heard you're going back to Beijing." "Oh yes," he replied after a moment of surprise. Hearing the affirmative answer, my heart sank. A choking feeling enveloped me. I don't know how to say this." Ethan Quynn glanced at me. "What's wrong? So, when will you be back?" "Not sure," Ethan Quynn replied vaguely, which was as good as not saying anything. I just hummed softly, dispiritedly unbuckling my seatbelt. Ethan Quynn and I didn't see each other for an entire month after that. Compared to before, this period of separation felt quite long. I also texted him a few times but received no reply. A month passed and we reunited at a party. This time, I had a chance to observe him more closely. Even so, I still had countless things I wanted to tell him. Just as I was about to approach, Ethan Quynn was called away by someone else. He stood amidst the crowd like a sun, radiant and prominent. Honestly, if it weren't for the debt, perhaps there would be nothing between us. "Stop dreaming, girl, you're about to turn to stone." Daisy came up beside me. "What are you looking at so intently?" I glanced at her and immediately retorted, "Nothing." Still denying it, who doesn't realize, if you like him, go for it. Daisy and I grew up together, I couldn't hide anything from her. I wasn't naturally timid, but it was different when I faced Ethan Quynn. Go for what? He's about to go back to Beijing. It's useless even if I go for it. Daisy looked at me with disdain. He hasn't left yet. If there's still time, you have to seize it immediately. Don't miss out and regret it later. Besides, Ethan Quynn might not even reject you. I felt I could express my feelings to Ethan Quynn. This was largely thanks to the encouragement from Daisy and Ethan Quinn's friends. Daisy, do you think I'm pretty? Gorgeous. So what do you think of me and Ethan Quynn? Perfect. I invited Ethan Quynn to dinner. Finally, that busy man replied to me. No one else, just the two of us. Okay. Oh my God, a single word made my heart pound. Daisy was even more excited than I was. She said she would help me do my makeup beautifully. Her skills were truly exceptional. When Ethan Quynn saw me, he was clearly surprised. I, on the other hand, felt a little shy. But who was I? In this social circle, I had never lost my composure. Even facing Ethan Quynn with all his surprises, I confidently held my head high. Am I pretty? Yes, you are, Ethan Quynn replied. I believed he was telling the truth. I smiled faintly, my heart filled with joy, but as I got into the car, an awkward atmosphere enveloped us. To break the silence, I had to rack my brain for ways to start a conversation. In response, Ethan Quynn only gave perfunctory answers, seemingly uninterested. Throughout the meal, Ethan Quynn seemed very busy. He kept glancing at his phone. This made me unsure how to continue the conversation. Ah, if you're busy, we can finish early. It's fine. Where were you in your story? Ah, I was talking about that time I had dinner with your friends. They said you told them about the first time we met. That's when I confessed I liked you. All my actions were just to get your attention. Ethan Quynn replied softly, still looking at his phone. I poked at the plate of pasta in front of me with my fork. At first, I was full of confidence about expressing my feelings to Ethan Quynn. But now, my courage had evaporated. But things had come this far. If I didn't pour out my heart, I wouldn't be at peace. So, I want to ask, if I say I truly like you, do I have a chance to pursue you? Yes. As soon as I finished speaking, Ethan Quynn immediately replied. I was astonished, doubting that he had heard me clearly. Surprisingly, he put his phone down, then looked at me seriously. I said, yes, you can pursue me. He repeated it again to confirm that he had heard clearly. My surprise did not diminish because Ethan Quinn's answer was too quick. I hadn't even had time to think about what to do next. But Ethan Quynn seemed to have prepared in advance. While I was still bewildered, unsure how to react, Attorney Yang ran in from outside, panting. Mr. Quynn, here are your roses. Please don't make such urgent requests next time. Ethan Quynn, all right, you can go now. Attorney Yang glanced at me. Ethan Quynn cleared his throat, then handed me the flowers. You successfully pursued me. We can start dating now. Just like that, I vaguely entered a romantic relationship with Ethan Quynn. Why vaguely? Because I absolutely never expected him to agree so quickly. With Ethan Quinn's arrogant and proud personality, I thought he would keep his distance for a while. Unexpectedly, truly unexpectedly, before I could even fully register what was happening, Ethan Quynn had already taken my hand. I suspected he had a plan all along, but unfortunately, I had no opportunity to ask him. The news of us dating was not hidden. Everyone confirmed the rumors and speculations from the past few years. After making our relationship public, I didn't notice any changes in Ethan Quynn. But one notable thing was that when my father, who was hiding abroad, heard the news, he called me. He kept calling me his precious daughter. I immediately blocked his number and reported him to customs. He was now a fugitive, and my father would certainly never be able to return again. This incident was reported by some media outlets and then became a hot topic of discussion. They called me ungrateful and heartless, and even went to Ethan Quynn to complain, asking him if I was too cruel. HMPH, how could they understand Ethan Quynn? If he heard them, he would definitely compliment me, saying, "Well done." Later, everything unfolded as I predicted. Although I was the one actively pursuing Ethan Quynn, I always harbored the worry of when he would return to Beijing. Therefore, I tried my best to express my feelings within that short period. Not to keep him, but just so I wouldn't regret it later when we separated. Then I realized that the news of Ethan Quynn returning to Beijing suddenly disappeared. Finally, I couldn't bear it anymore and asked him, "Are you not going back to Beijing this year either?" Why? Didn't you say you were going back? The projects in Beijing will take at least 3 more years to complete. Someone needs to be in charge here. Is that all? I didn't give up, continuing to ask, "So you don't have any other intentions?" Ethan Quynn glanced at me. He was intelligent. He understood my small self-importance just by looking. He didn't expose me. Instead, he followed my line of thought to answer. Yes. Yes, what? I waited for his answer. But he remained silent, then asked irritably, why should I tell you? The answer he didn't say, I had already guessed. Because not long after, he attended a press conference. Someone asked about our relationship. What everyone was most curious about were the rumors I had intentionally spread. A reporter asked Ethan Quynn what he thought about it. What else could I think? To say there were still feelings is false. Hatred born from love is also false, but ulterior motives? Perhaps that's true. Ah,